The next actor to take on the iconic role of James Bond in Bond 26 is still unknown after the ending of No Time to Die. However, many possible actors could take on the role, with Aaron Taylor-Johnson being one of the favorites to portray 007 despite Henry Cavill's unofficial James Bond trilogy movie. There are also many possibilities for who could play the villain, but now that a new James Bond era is coming, a woman is just as suitable as 007's new antagonist. In a recent interview with Happy Sad Confused, podcast Lady Bird star Saoirse Ronan revealed that she could not see herself in a Marvel Studios movie, but Ronan would prefer to be cast in a James Bond movie as a villain. As 007 fans await updates on James Bond's casting, Ronan could conceivably be cast as a prominent female villain. Ronan's wishes are too good to be ignored, as she could be the perfect female villain in Bond 26. Saoirse Ronan would make a perfect villain actor for Bond 26. Saoirse Ronan's potential role in Bond 26 could be amazing. There are many reasons why Ronan would make a perfect villain for Bond 26. Firstly, Ronan has played a villain role before, but her portrayal of the villain differs from that of many villain characters. In 2007, Ronan starred as teenager Bryony Tallis in director Joe Wright's Atonement, where she was responsible for her elder sister, Cecilia Tallis, Keira Knightley, downfall due to her web of mistakes that she never corrected. Saoirse's uncanny ability to channel her past character's maliciousness would make her ideal to play a villain in Bond 26. Another reason Saoirse Ronan would be an impeccable villain in Bond 26 is that she has the range and versatility to play a villain. From starring as a tragic character in The Lovely Bones to portraying a teenage assassin in Hannah, an Assassin, Ronan has shown the ability to adapt to different roles. Therefore, Ronan's Bond 26 villain casting could be exciting, as Ronan can take the character in intriguing ways that if Ronan is cast as a villain in Bond 26, she would be out of her comfort zone. Though she played a villain in Atonement, she still does not have much experience in villain roles, as her role in Atonement could be perceived as misunderstood. Because of her lack of villain roles, it would be interesting to see what she brings to Bond 26 as a villain, as her dark side has yet to be completely uncovered. A female main villain would break a long-standing Bond trend. Male villains were the standard in James Bond. The 007 franchise has had female side villains in many James Bond movies, such as Xenia Onatopp, Famke Jackson, from GoldenEye, and Dr. Foggle, Brigitte Miller, from Spectre. However, with exceptions like Elektra King, Sophie Mosso, In the World Is Not Enough, James Bond's primary villains are typically male. If Ronan were cast as the main villain in Bond 26, her casting would break a long-standing Bond trend, as it could start a new trend of female actors as main villains. Ronan's casting in Bond 26 as a villain would be a game-changer for the James Bond franchise, taking the Bond story in a bold new direction. Ronan's casting as the main villain would challenge the perception of a Bond villain, which is not only needed but riveting after 55 years. Ronan could either conform to the conventions of a James Bond villain or subvert them, meaning that she could change how James Bond villains are portrayed. As James Bond's 007 story has been told for 55 years, not having as many female villains as men is questionable. Bond 26 now has a new opportunity to cast a female main villain. Simply put, it is time for a female villain to challenge the James Bond franchise. Saoirse Ronan's casting would be immaculate for breaking this tradition, as Ronan would be taking a risk with a villain role with her lack of experience, which could pay off due to her talents. Saoirse Ronan's Bond 26 villain casting could pit her against her real-life husband. Ronan is married to another favorite for the Bond 26 role. Daniel Craig as James Bond with female silhouette. Slow Horse's Jack Lowden as James Bond is a possibility, as he is one of the names potentially tipped to be the next Bond actor. Since Lowden is Saoirse Ronan's husband, their potential casting could pit them against each other. For this reason, their casting would be faultless for Bond 26, as their roles could challenge their dynamic on screen because of their marriage.